Forget the statues and history books. Step inside Benjamin Franklin's world, right at his dining table in colonial Philadelphia. This wasn't just where he ate, it's where he shared ideas, built friendships, and shaped a nation. His meals were a blend of simple, local ingredients and the refined tastes he picked up abroad. Each dish tells a story of an inventor, a diplomat, and a man who saw both tradition and innovation on his plate. 20 foods Benjamin Franklin actually ate. Number 1. Cornmeal pancakes. Cornmeal pancakes were a staple in Franklin's household, prepared with simple ingredients like cornmeal, water, and sometimes milk. He enjoyed them drizzled with honey or maple syrup, often served alongside fresh fruits or stewed vegetables. These pancakes were more than breakfast. They reflected the blending of Native American corn traditions with colonial ingenuity. Imagine Franklin sharing them with friends over morning coffee, discussing philosophy and politics, while the aroma of cooking filled the room. Each bite was nourishment, and a connection to the land, the people, and the early American identity. These simple pancakes were a testament to the efficient use of local, affordable ingredients. Number 2. Roasted wild turkey. Long before it became a national symbol, roasted wild turkey was a prized game bird. Franklin's cooks would have prepared it with a sage and onion stuffing, slow roasting it over a hearth fire until the skin was crispy and golden. This wasn't an everyday meal, but a centerpiece for special occasions and holidays, surrounded by a lively gathering of family and distinguished guests. The savory aroma filled his home, a testament to the bounty of the New World. Franklin's love for the turkey was so great, he famously championed it as the national bird, a symbol of American strength and independence. The roasting process was a social event in itself, requiring constant attention and care.
Number 3. Beefsteak and kidney pie. From his time in London, Franklin developed a taste for British classics, including a hearty beefsteak and kidney pie. Image of a beefsteak and kidney pie. This savory dish, with its rich gravy and flaky golden crust, was a taste of the old world in the new. Served hot on a cold winter's night, it provided a robust warmth and comfort. He likely enjoyed this with a circle of close friends, perhaps reminiscing about his time abroad. The deep, earthy flavor of the meat and the satisfying texture of the pastry were a welcome luxury, reminding him of his European travels and his place on the world stage. The use of suet in the crust made it incredibly rich and satisfying. Number 4. Codfish. Living in a port city, fresh seafood was a given, and codfish was a common sight. It was often salted and dried to preserve it, then rehydrated and cooked. Whether baked, broiled, or used in a stew, the flaky white fish was a lean and healthy protein. Franklin, a man of simple taste despite his fame, would have appreciated its no-fuss preparation. The gentle oceanic flavor would have been a staple, perhaps served on a Friday or during Lent, a humble dish that reflected the coastal lifeblood of colonial America. Salting the fish was a vital preservation technique that allowed it to be transported far inland. Number 5. Baked apples. Simple yet sweet, baked apples were a favorite colonial dessert. They were cored, stuffed with a blend of sugar, cinnamon, and sometimes a hint of butter, then slow-baked until soft and fragrant. The aroma of warm cinnamon and baked fruit was a simple luxury. Often served warm after a long, savory meal, these apples were a comforting, wholesome finish. They remind us of Franklin's own Poor Richard philosophy, that true wealth lies in simple, honest pleasures. The sweet and spicy filling made them a favorite for both adults and children. Number 6. Oyster stew. Philadelphia's rivers teemed with oysters, and oyster stew was a common delicacy. Prepared by simmering fresh oysters in milk or cream, sometimes with a bit of butter and a dash of pepper, it was a rich and velvety soup. The briny, delicate flavor of the oysters created a striking contrast with the creamy broth. Franklin likely enjoyed this during lively political discussions, the shared dish a symbol of the city's abundance and the lively, thriving culture of its citizens. The creamy consistency made it a decadent and filling dish. Number 7. Smoked ham. Preserving meat was essential, and smoked ham was a popular method. Cured and smoked over a fire, the ham developed a deep, savory, smoky flavor that was irresistible. Slices of it would be served as part of a cold meal or a larger feast. Image of a smoked ham. It was a food that spoke of hard work and self-sufficiency, a staple that could feed a large family or a gathering of guests. It was a taste of the land, a testament to the practical, no-nonsense spirit of the colonists. Smoking the ham also provided a rich, dark color and a wonderfully complex flavor profile. Number 8. Vegetable pottage. A thick, rustic vegetable pottage was a daily dish. This was a hearty, thick soup made from whatever vegetables were in season: carrots, onions, turnips, and potatoes. It was a frugal and nourishing meal, often seasoned with herbs from the garden. Its simplicity and warmth made it a cornerstone of Franklin's diet. Reflecting his belief in temperance and practicality, it was the kind of meal shared around a fire, a moment of simple warmth and comfort. Every household had its own variation, depending on what was available from their garden or the local market. Number 9. Gingerbread. Colonial kitchens were filled with the aroma of spices, and gingerbread was a popular treat. Made with molasses, ginger, and other warm spices, it could be baked into a soft cake or crisp cookies. Franklin, with his famous sweet tooth, would have enjoyed this with a cup of tea. The spicy warmth of the ginger and the deep sweetness of the molasses made it a comforting and celebratory dessert. A simple pleasure that brought a smile to the faces of all who tasted it. The inclusion of ginger was believed to have medicinal properties and aid digestion. Number 10. Apple cider. While not a food, apple cider was a constant presence at Franklin's table. Hard cider was a common and safer alternative to water, and it was a drink enjoyed by all. Made from pressed apples, its crisp, tangy flavor was refreshing and a pleasant accompaniment to any meal. Franklin, a man known for his sociable nature, would have raised a glass of cider with guests, toasting to new ideas, new friends, and a new nation. This fermented beverage was a staple in most colonial homes due to its long shelf life. Number 11. Boiled cabbage. A simple, humble side dish, boiled cabbage was a part of many colonial meals. It was a sturdy vegetable that stored well through the winter. Often boiled until tender and then seasoned with a bit of salt, it provided essential nutrients in a simple form. While perhaps not the most glamorous dish, it was a testament to the practicality of the colonial diet. Franklin, ever the pragmatist, would have seen its value as a simple, nourishing staple. Cabbage was a key ingredient in many dishes, from stews to fermented sauerkraut. Number 12. Fresh oysters. Oysters, as we know, were a delicacy, but Franklin also enjoyed them raw. Served freshly shucked with a squeeze of lemon or a dollop of horseradish, they were a taste of the ocean itself. The briny, cool sensation of a raw oyster was a true indulgence. These were likely served as an appetizer during a high-stakes dinner with fellow politicians, a moment of refined taste before the serious business began. Oysters were so plentiful in Philadelphia that they were considered a food for the working class as well as the elite. Number 13. Plum pudding. Another British import, plum pudding was a festive treat. Made with dried fruits, the plums were actually raisins or currants. Sweet, spices, and spirits, it was boiled for hours until dark and rich. Image of a plum pudding. The warm, spicy, and fruit-filled flavor was a classic Christmas dessert. It was a taste of tradition, a memory of a distant home, but also a new tradition being formed in America, shared with family on a chilly holiday. The long cooking process required a dedicated effort, making it a truly special occasion food. Number 14. New England boiled dinner. A true one-pot meal, the New England boiled dinner was a practical feast. It was a simple dish of salted beef boiled with potatoes, carrots, and cabbage. The slow cooking process tenderized the meat and melded the flavors into a hearty, savory dish. This was a communal meal served from a single pot, where everyone gathered around to share in its warmth and simple sustenance. It was the very definition of a meal that brought people together. This meal was incredibly efficient, as all the ingredients could be cooked in a single pot. Number 15. Spinach, or spinach as it was called then. It was a common green in colonial gardens. It was often simply boiled or sautéed with a bit of butter and vinegar. The slightly bitter, earthy flavor was a refreshing counterpoint to the heavier meats on the table. Franklin, a believer in a healthy, balanced diet, would have appreciated this simple, nutritious side, which spoke to his rational and scientific mind. Spinach was an excellent source of vitamins and minerals, helping to balance the more meat-heavy meals. Number 16. Rabbit stew game meats were a part of the colonial diet, and rabbit stew was a common dish. Prepared by simmering rabbit meat with root vegetables and herbs, it was a hearty and flavorful meal. The tender meat and rich savory broth were a welcome comfort on a cold day. This was a dish of the countryside, of hunting and foraging, a rustic taste of the wilderness that surrounded the growing city. The lean, mild flavor of the rabbit made it a versatile base for many different stews. Number 17. Venison. Another popular game meat, venison, deer meat, was a prized food. It could be roasted, stewed, or pan-fried. The lean, rich, slightly gamey flavor was a true delicacy. Franklin, who once joked that he was a vegetarian but gave it up when he saw a fish being gutted and felt no remorse, would have enjoyed this. Venison was a testament to the wild abundance of the New World. It was often marinated in wine or vinegar to tenderize the meat and enhance its flavor. Number 18. Fish chowder. A classic coastal soup, fish chowder was a thick, creamy stew made with chunks of white fish, potatoes, onions, and milk or cream. The warm, comforting flavor of the chowder, with its soft pieces of potato and tender fish, was a perfect meal for a cool evening. It spoke of the sea and the simple, robust flavors of maritime life. It was a meal that was both a taste of home and a reflection of the global trade that passed through Philadelphia's port. The use of salt pork or bacon was common to add a smoky depth to the chowder. Number 19. Molasses cookies. Molasses cookies were a simple and popular treat made from the dark, rich syrup that was a byproduct of the sugar trade. The cookies were chewy and deeply flavored with the sweetness of molasses and a hint of spice. They were a simple, humble dessert, often shared with children or served with tea. Franklin, who appreciated all things practical and efficient, would have loved these cookies, a perfect example of turning a simple ingredient into a satisfying treat. These cookies were often baked in large batches and stored in tins for a long time. Number 20. Pumpkin pie. A truly American dessert, pumpkin pie was a staple. Made from a spiced pumpkin puree baked in a pastry crust, it was a celebratory dessert, particularly in autumn. The warm, earthy sweetness of the pumpkin and the blend of cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger were a taste of the harvest season. It was a dessert that truly belonged to the New World, a symbol of American ingenuity and the richness of the land. The spices used in the pie were a symbol of both wealth and global trade. Benjamin Franklin's table was more than a place to eat. It was a stage for life, for learning, for community, and for creativity. From the simple comfort of cornmeal pancakes to the rich indulgence of a beefsteak pie, his meals tell the story of a world in transformation, where rustic colonial life met the sophistication of European ideas. So imagine yourself pulling up a chair, the warm candlelight on your face, the aromas surrounding you, and the lively conversation filling the air. You're not just tasting the food, you're tasting the spirit of an era, a story of culture, innovation, and the daily life of a founding father. These simple dishes, so full of history, remind us that the most nourishing meals are the ones that feed both the body and the soul.